Hello everybody, once again back with another car build. This is actually coming straight off the back of the previous one, so just got finished with the MSM Terrier, so now moving on to this, the Comet Kodiak 4x4. So I had a comment from a commenter, from a viewer who I shall flash up on screen now, who suggested that I should build a pickup truck or SUV. So I chose a pickup truck because it's something I genuinely don't have that much experience with in general, and really wanted to try something different, try something new that I don't always do, because if I didn't get asked to do something like this, then I'd never do it and we'd just have a bunch of sports cars. So this is going to be like just your quite similar to, I guess, like your Chevy Silverado. It's got some inspiration from GMC, a little bit of Ford as well, and just I hope as well with these settings I've got this right. I think I did a lot of research, and most pickup trucks seem to have some variation of like double wishbone and solid axle in the back, although people can crucify me in the comments if this is incorrect. And what I've also done this time is I've actually gone ahead and sorted out all the issues with the car engine wise and handling wise already. So if we go to the engine over here, you can see it's a very much based on like the Ford modular V8 of the time, except it's 5.1 litres, not 5 litres, because I wanted to give it some variation from the actual real thing. I didn't want to just completely copy reality. I wanted to do something original-ish, even though this is very heavily inspired by Ford and GMC. But this is all the things you can see. I tried to keep it pretty not special, if that makes sense, for a V8. Like, I didn't want too many performance parts, because ultimately it's going in a pickup truck, so it doesn't need to be very performance oriented. It just needs to be a good, reliable, torquey V8 that makes plenty of power. And as you can see, when I find the graph, it makes pretty good power, 375.2 horsepower at 6,700 RPM as well, so it's quite revvy for a truck engine, but I thought this was pretty good for the vehicle. But now what we'll do, as ever, is jump into the speed build section, and we'll go from there. Right, so here we go. Comet Kodiak, a big American truck, which is exactly what you're looking at right now, or at least the start of it. So this is my second attempt at this recording, this voiceover, because basically what happened is I did the first one and then realised I had about 15 million voice breaks in it, which is kind of funny, but also doesn't really make for good content. Like, if you're wanting a voiceover, then you've got to do it properly. I might put that in an outtake at some point, but it was terrible. It was so terrible. I had to literally redo it. It was borderline embarrassing. Anyway, here is the Comet Kodiak. Of course, this was the viewer request, so we're just doing the front bit now, doing this grille. It's very excessive, this grille, and I'm not really sure what inspiration there is for it. I'm convinced I was on some kind of recreational drugs when I was making it, but that's besides the point. The running lights and the actual headlights are Ford reminiscent, but the grille is just a kick bash, do whatever you want, get creative with it, ask questions later kind of thing. And I realised in the beginning that the actual body this comes with from standard is, it has a bit too much front bumper. So I was like, no, I don't like that, get rid of it. So I got rid of the front bumper, or what was left of it, so I could put in a skid plate. Now, I spent a millennia finding a skid plate. Well, I actually couldn't find one, so I went for a bash bar instead, and then used some 3D fixtures to fill in the rest, to kind of tie the bash bar in with the rest of the bumper to look like this kind of plasticky, kind of metally, I'm not sure what I was going for, but it looks kind of tough arrangement. And did have some more vents there, changed those to black plastic, and then put some halogens or some little xenon lights in, just to break up that little bit of dead space in the front there. Because while you don't need to over-design your sides of your vehicles, it's quite nice to give quite a lot to look at on the front. And I know that goes completely against the ethos of my previous speed build. I am a massive hypocrite. You can flame me in the comments, but sometimes it's nice to over-design things every once in a while. Not always, just once in a while. This is one of those occasions because it was a viewer request, so I really wanted to show what I could do to the best of my ability, and right now I feel like this is the best of my ability as far as getting creative with fixtures is concerned. Anyways, I've waffled along far enough about things that aren't the vehicle. Let's get back to the vehicle. So putting in some door handles, putting in some window trim. I originally 3D placed those door handles. I do go back and fix them later. Also, I realised at the end of this, and you'll also probably realise right now there are no wing mirrors, and I didn't actually put those on until post-production when I realised, yeah, it kind of needs wing mirrors. So those didn't go on until after the speed build, spoiler alert, but now putting in the fuel cap and the rims, and you can see it's got some nice fat chunky off-road tyres. Put in those side like fender things, they were originally body coloured. I changed them to be black because I thought that broke up the side a bit better. Adding a step in because all good pickup trucks need a step so you can get into it because it's a million miles off the ground. In retrospect, I actually think that rear step below the tailgate is a little too old-fashioned looking, but we could claim that that was like either an addition thing or it was an optional extra, or I'm probably overthinking it. But yeah, no, that's what I was thinking at the time. But the tail lights I actually quite like. I was originally going to go for a more rounded design. I later settle on like a more steeple kind of pointy design because I thought it looked more modern. Added in a door handle there, added in some body molding, and then I go back and add a black decal, because Fords have that on the back, or at least some of them do, except this isn't a Ford, this is a Comet, and so it doesn't say Ford, it's just got the little star for comment, that little Comet, there we go, if I put my teeth in, the red, white and blue star, which I spend forever looking for until I finally find it. There it is. Adding the decals. I tried for a minute here to 3D place the name of the vehicle, because all good automation and Beam players know at the minute the custom text feature is kind of broken in Beam, so I was trying to see if that made a difference, but eventually gave up when it got far too fiddly. I also need a new mouse. The current one I'm using is kind of terrible, so when you're playing automation, that's not what you want, so that's going to be a future investment for me. Anyway, in goes the basic interior. I did actually have to put in a custom floor because the seats were floating a million miles off the ground, and that's not ideal when you have a car that you'd like to drive. So I put in the automatic shifter here in the middle, putting in the floor, and just putting in some finishing flourishes in the end as well. There's a indicator that goes in and a tow bar. Yep, there's the tow bar. And there's the indicator, and that is your Comet Kodiak 4x4 2023. Incredibly fun to build. I didn't think it was going to be this fun, but I had such a hoot designing it and then building it, and then later just you driving it. But yeah, no, super cool to design. I love the over design, like Americanness of it. I really think it's typical of the modern American pickup truck, so to speak. But now we shall head to the history segment, and we shall have a talk about the Kodiak. This is the 2023 Comet Kodiak 4x4, a name that to most Americans means one thing: get the job done. The Kodiak name has been a part of Comet's DNA long before the company even was Comet. Back in the early days, aka the 1950s or thereabouts, it was the Canary Motor Company, and even then the Kodiak was the go-to utility truck for ranchers, rescue crews, and anybody who needed to haul anywhere with a good turn of speed. The rebrand from Canary to Comet came in 1965, but the Kodiak, that name never left. This latest generation keeps that heritage alive, and then some. Under the hood, you'll still find the same 5.1 litre all-aluminium V8 as before, but now tuned to a healthy 375 horsepower. It's not subtle, and it's quite loud, and it'll hit 60 miles per hour in just over 7 seconds, which is more than brisk enough for anything with the aerodynamic qualities of a brick. A hard limiter keeps the top speed capped at 125 miles per hour, but honestly, if you're going any faster than that in a pickup truck, something's probably very wrong with you. The Kodiak never was about speed. It's a do-anything, go-anywhere machine. Trails, snow and mud are all handled with laughable ease, and with switchable four-wheel drive, locking diffs and ground clearance you could lose a boot in, the Kodiak never flinches. And when the work's all done, there's still plenty of space in the bed for tools, timber or a full weekend's worth of camping gear, plus the tent. That kind of brawn and brains hasn't gone unnoticed either. Several US police departments have adopted the Kodiak for patrol duties, especially in rural and mountainous regions. Turns out, it's not just good at chasing down criminals, it's also handy to getting to them when they've pegged it into the woods. And here's the real kicker to finish it off. As of 2025, the Kodiak has been voted America's favourite pickup truck for 10 years in a row now. And that's not just marketing bollocks. That's a decade of beating out some very, very serious competition, because while others have gone soft and added chrome, called it a day, Kodiak have stayed true to its roots. It's rugged, fast and practical, and as American as apple pie, the Comet Kodiak doesn't just get the job done, it owns it. Once again, time for the hill climb. Here we go. We're at Goodwood once more with the Kodiak. So for this one, because it has ESC is standard, I elected to actually keep that on because it's a reflection of like what the car would be like on, or what the truck would be like on the road. So I did keep it in sport, although the automatic gearbox is quite interesting. It's got some weird behaviours as to when and where it wants to shift and what gear it wants to be in for certain corners, but this is a reflection of how the vehicle would perform on the road, so we're going to keep it that way. It's actually pretty decent in a straight. The only problem, as you'd expect, is because it's so heavy and because it's on those off-road tyres, it's got issues with turning, it's got issues with stopping, and just grip in general. Like, these off-road tyres are not made to be driven at these speeds on roads, hence why I also gave it a hard limiter at 125, because I just don't think pickup trucks need to be going that fast. Anyway, we're through the flint wall relatively easy, and then up to the final corner here, getting hard on the brakes because you just need to get it turned in. The gearbox has a fit as we go through that corner. We're now heading up to the finish line, and again, as you can see, straight line speed for something that weighs 2.5 tons is pretty quick. Like, it's genuinely pretty quick. The only issue is just how sluggish it is in the corners, and it loses so much speed through the corners. So much so, in fact, that it comes home with a 1:16.004, which does actually make it the slowest thing we've had thus far. But can you really blame it, given the size of it and just what it's going up against? But yeah, so that's the hill run, and of course it's off-road tyres, which means we're heading to the rally stage. I do look forward to doing off-road vehicles. I think the rally stage is just it's quite a lot different to the main racetrack, which sounds stupid, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just a different driving experience, and this certainly was an experience. I think this took me at least 10 attempts to get right, because the problem is it's just massive. I mean, that's, you know, really addressing the elephant in the room, and I guess that mean that in the literal sense. Look at the size of it, but it's gigantic, which means it's not manoeuvrable at all. Like I said, it weighs 2.5 tons. So, and I do clip the tree there, but no damage done, so we continue. It's a chore to get through corners, and like in the off-road stage, I did engage the all-wheel drive, I did engage high 4, so it's got a little bit more of a fighting chance here, but it's bouncy, it's cumbersome, you know, corners. I think there's a couple where I do almost stop because there's just no turning it. Like, it's like piloting the Titanic. Like, you have to really, I will use the phrase chuck it in again if I have to. You've got to chuck it in, but then when you chuck it in, all the cars, other systems fight against you. And like, uphill, it's good. It's got good torque because big old V8, V8 motor, 5.1 litres of fury, although I don't think anything about this is furious. I did think about making like a trophy truck version. I thought to leave it out for the moment. That will probably be a future thing, but it carves through the dirt with relative ease, but it's just maneuverability that it's Achilles heel. That tree there's always a pain. I almost crash into that one, but like coming through it, like, it's, you know what I mean, like you have to get it into first gear, wait for it off power to turn around, and then you can finally get going again. It has an advantage through the water. It's quite high up, all of its grills and stuff. You know, there's not really an easy way for water to get in, which I guess if you were actually driving this thing, this is what you want. Again, here, it's very slow through there. Like, that's like a gentle turn. That wasn't like a rally car drift through a corner. That was that was genuinely a leisurely drive through that right-hander over the road sections here. This is a bit up and down. It bottoms out just a tiny bit over some of the jumps because, again, it's not like fully fledged, you know, trophy truck. Baja suspension is still made with road driving in mind, but I wanted to put it somewhere. I wanted to still put it on the rally stage over the racetrack, just because I thought here it would have a little bit more of a fighting chance given what it's built for. Through this mud section, again, relative ease, good ground clearance, 4x4 helping it out. So now head to the final stages of the rally. So to summarise, I like it. I think aesthetically as well, it's one of my better cars for sure. I really spent a lot of time and care trying to get it right. Actual driving experience, of course, on tarmac, it's not very good. Off-road, I thought it was a lot better, he says, as you're watching it nose and tail just smash into the ground. But yeah, like I mentioned with the Canary, the off-roading Canary, these places are where the cars with the off-road tyres are in their element, and that definitely shows with this as well. well, it being a pickup truck, it's never going to be the fastest unless I gave it like 1,000 horsepower. But considering what I was working with, 3 minutes 20 seconds, yeah, I like it. I like it, you know, and I think it does well here for what it is. But now we'll head over to its final rankings and see where it stacks up. So we're back once again at the end of the video where we see how the vehicle stacks up against everything else. And, well, doesn't take much imagination to figure out where this thing was going to come. I mean, you saw the results in game, but we'll flash them up here just for comparison with everything else that's run so far. Falls to the bottom of the Goodwood order. Again, that track really favours cars that have good handling. The rally stage, again, it's going to favour things that can take jumps better, that's not built so much for road. Again, fully fledged rally cars are going to be what's best there. So it falls in second at the rally stage, and also as far as the off-road tier list is concerned, it falls in second there too, and I don't think it will stay in second for long as much faster stuff comes in, and because the rally stage is so long, it falls off quite a lot. But do want to say a big thank you to Noah Baker 49 for the suggestion for the pickup truck. It's really cool to make something different that I haven't made before, and although it wasn't the fastest thing in the world, it was definitely fun to make and a really enjoyable process to do something that a commenter had suggested. And of course, if I didn't get that comment, then I never would have probably made a pickup truck ever for this series. So thank you very much for your comment, and thank you everybody else who's made it this far. Again, your support is greatly appreciated. Join us next time where we will probably be making something different, no doubt. So thank you very much for your time, and on that bombshell, it is time to end. Thank you very much for watching, and good night.